first thing in the morning, you want to open up the rotator muscles, so big circling of the shoulders, and start to breathe the long, smooth Ujjayi breath, ocean-like breath. Look at your hands as you take them behind you. Big circling, backwards swimming. And then taking the hands around the body, bend the knees, keep the spine pretty straight, the head is lifted, and stretch your fingertips out. So as you swirl around, all the nerves that feed into the spine get stimulated. So it's great, waking up the central nervous system. And then you turn this into a discus throwing movement. So we inhale, throw the discus, exhale, down, up and breathing in. Start to clear the lungs and point your toes as you lift your fingers. So we get that fascial stretch just underneath the skin surface of the whole body. So a couple of big swishes, and then just give yourself a little tap on the upper back, and we'll come down onto knees. So starting with knees, we're going to be activating gluteal muscles, opening up into the pectoral muscles, the chest muscles, and activating the upper back muscles. So taking the hands into the heart center, make sure your head is balanced on top of your neck, so you're not thrusting your head forward. Your shoulders are nice and dropped away from your ears. I like to imagine there are heavy weights dropping down from the base of the shoulder blades, so they're really nice and relaxed in the shoulder girdle. So take a breath here. And then on your next inhalation, squeeze the gluteal muscles as you glide up, and then exhaling down. So we squeeze the glutes, the bum muscles, and release down. As you squeeze, you come up and down. And then same action through the glutes, but take the hands up high and down beside you, lifting up to open the heart center and down. Press down through your shins. Take the hands behind you, extend them in front of you. So this is called an extended child pose, lengthening all the way from the crown of the head to the tail, and then coming up onto hands and knees for cat and cow. So I'll just turn sideways for cat and cow. We want to lift the tail, lift the heart, and as you exhale, tuck the tail, rounding through to the shoulders. Lifting, opening the heart center, tucking, and rounding like an angry cat. If you are experiencing too much rounding through the upper back area, come more into neutral. And if you are getting too sort of lax, if you like, through the middle back, the lumbar spine area, don't take your tail quite so high. So inhale, exhale to round. This is wonderful just to warm up the spine, exhaling to round, and getting some mobility through the pelvis. So doing this until you've had enough, and you might want to then take your knees together and swirl the hips around. Nice big circles. Swirling the hips releases any tightness around the pelvis. It's a nice massage into the lower back. So one direction and then the other. Beautiful. And then we're going to come up and take one foot in front and the other foot behind. You're kneeling so that your knee is directly underneath your pelvis. Take the hands behind you to open the heart center, pulling the hands away from your pelvis. Inch your front toes forward and then draw your pelvis forward to come into a lunge, lifting up through the heart center. So we're taking a deep breath in to take the rib cage up away from the pelvis. And then as you exhale, a tiny bit deeper into the lunge. This is the opposite of sitting, opening up into the hip flexors and then opening up into the chest. Wonderful. Coming back, so either downward facing dog, tucking your toes, and then drawing your tail back and up to lengthen the spine, dropping the heels down one at a time. So a downward facing dog, we want to make sure the shoulders come right away from the ears, and it's more about straightening the back than about getting the hamstrings lengthened and taking the heels down. So this part is very secondary, legs straightening is secondary to lengthening the spine. If you're not doing downward facing dog, stretch the spine out in an extended child pose, like so. Lengthening the lower back. And then coming up and doing your lunge on the other side. So knee on top of ankle, roll the shoulders back, draw the hands away from the pelvis, inch those front toes forward, and then just lift the heart center slightly. We're looking for the stretch in the quads and into the hip flexors here. We want to slightly tuck the pubic bone forward, very slightly, as we come into this lunge here. Smooth breath. And then hands down on either side of that front foot and just spring yourself forward. Hands on top of your knees, on your thighs, wherever they land. Press down through your heels and start to lift the sit bones and straighten the spine. So we're creating a long line from the crown to the tail. Lengthening and then releasing on an exhalation. Pressing down through the feet to lengthen on an inhalation and exhaling to release. So crucially, when we come up, we're looking to draw the base of the shoulder blades towards each other, draw in the base of the rib cage so that we work those deep core muscles here. All of the extensor muscles of the back are working. So if we're rounded, they won't be working. We want to make sure that the back is straight, and that means lifting the tail slightly. And then by all means press the heels down in order to create a little bit of stretch through the hamstrings as well. Press down and out with your feet so we have a slight lift through the inner arches. So breathing here and then releasing. And then just roll yourself up and take another couple of full rotations through the shoulders and you're good to go.